Good morning, welcome to a new class. Today we'll be discussing constipation. This is a condition, sort of like a symptom of a lot of diseases. And almost everybody at some stage in their life experiences constipation. And when it gets chronic, which means for a long period of time, let's say around 6 months, you have irregular bowel movements and there is a lot of strain, a lot of pressure, and you can't really defecate essentially. That's when you actually are diagnosed with proper constipation. But most people experience constipation on usually like a weekly to regular basis, especially if they don't have a healthy digestive system. Constipation is the root cause indicator of a lot of diseases. I'll just draw a small large intestine for you, and this is the small intestine inside. It's like all jumbled up together. Yeah, small intestine, large intestine, and this is the anus area. This is where you defecate through. After the stomach processes are over, the food travels through the small intestine, the nutrients get absorbed, etc. Hormones start releasing, serotonin starts releasing. Once the food has completely is ready for defecation, there's a buildup of stool, right? And the stool then travels down through the anus and comes out. What happens in constipation is this area becomes very dry, okay? There's not enough water, there's not enough moisture to push out. Usually that's the case. In Ayurveda, this is known as Vata condition, where air and space dominate your digestive system, your gut, and hence there is, imagine like a dry forest, okay? So, and there's cracks. Yeah? You can also see that on your tongue sometimes, there's cracks on your tongue. It's like towards the end over here. Imagine this is your tongue and your cracks, like towards the end of your tongue. And that can also mean a vata derangement of the small intestine or the gut, it's essentially. Okay? If there's too much air, too much space, then the lumps will become hard and big, like thick, okay? And it'll be really hard to pass, like you'll have to strain essentially to release and defecate. All that means is the fire element in your body is low, okay? The water element is also low, and air and space elements are much higher, as per Ayurveda. That's a simple understanding of constipation. We'll look at a lot of frameworks today. I would just keep this sort of image in your mind, which will help you imagine the frameworks there that I'm going to explain. We'll go into every layer from the physical to the emotional, and we'll bridge that together today. And you'll actually realize how easy it is to get rid of constipation. Your digestive system is essentially where most of the fire element is, where most of the transformation happens. Fire means transformation. The food that you eat essentially turns into life, and that happens in your gut. Your gut is connected to your brain. Okay? Most of the happy hormone serotonin is produced in your small intestine. I'm going to draw fire. And then you need water as well for movement, for fluidity throughout, moisture throughout your gut. If you don't have enough, and if you don't have water and fire in balance, what you get is a dry forest. Okay, what you get is cracked land. It becomes dry, especially with a lot of air passing through. Imagine there's a lot of air passing through like dry land. Okay, it will further basically dim the fire that is burning within you. Imagine a bonfire and the fire is not able to reach its peak because there's a lot of air rushing through, right? If you light a matchstick and there's a lot of air around it, it will essentially extinguish the fire on the matchstick. It's the same concept, but in your gut, where your gut is the centerpiece of transformation, but because of your lifestyle, because of your daily habits, there's too much rushing, there's too much energy, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of stress. Because of that movement, air elements, and you're not getting the peak fire in order to digest food, in order to absorb food, in order to have proper defecation of the waste that is in your body. Let's look at the first framework, which is your physical aspect, which is essentially when you chew food fast, what you get is food travels in lumps in through your esophagus, goes through your stomach, goes to the stomach, gets broken down. Your body's doing a lot of hard work when you haven't done the proper chewing that you're meant to do by your teeth. Your body takes the load, a lot of energy gets rushed to digest the food better. And over time, what happens is there's metabolic toxins that start building up because your fire, I imagine like a lot of food going down, okay, in big lumps, it will essentially dim your fire. So When the fire is dim, it's not able to digest food. The hydrochloric acid, when it's diluted, when it's not properly acidic, it won't digest food properly. Okay, and slowly over a period of time, the food in your body will start fermenting. The food is not being processed properly, hence there's leftovers of toxins, etc., that are not being eliminated as well. Stomach to the large intestine to the small intestine, there's a lot of waste that have been accumulating over a period of time because you're chewing food fast. Food is being rotted, fermented, and over a period of time, you start getting inflammation because there's metabolic toxins start increasing in your body because there's not proper elimination of the food as well, of the toxins, of the waste. No one has shown us chewing food fast. It's the number one cause of constipation physically, if you look at it. If you look at the physical framework. Highly recommend, if you do have constipation, the first thing that you fix is you chew food slowly. You'll notice a lot of people who become obese, who become overweight, you'll notice that they have a tendency to just gulp down food very fast. No matter how much you go to the gym, whatever, you still need to chew your food slowly. Over a period of time, what happens is your blood vessels start accumulating metabolic toxins, and inflammation starts building up, and fat starts developing on the side of the blood vessels, and you get heart issues later on down the line. And people in arrogance might say, oh, I've been eating like this all my life, nothing has happened, so it won't happen in the future as well. Like, that's not how the body works. There's a certain threshold that your body can take and bear until that threshold is crossed, and then you get disease. Okay, your body takes a lot of time to develop disease, but once it develops it, once your blood vessels start getting the fat, okay, the accumulation of fat around your blood vessels, you are bound to get heart disease. Like, it's inevitable. You won't see it, and your body's really good at masking it, and your brain is also really good at masking it, because you get into that flow, you get into that rhythm in your daily life that you don't really focus on your body, you're not paying attention, you're not aware of what's happening in your body. So you just go past all the symptoms like constipation, like dizziness, brain fog, whatever it is, and you reach 50, 40, age of 50 and 40, and you start experiencing heart issues, right? It's in nature. Everybody takes small bites. Everybody ensures that there's a proper chewing. The cow, the dog, you'll notice the whole jaw moves. They're not just slurping down baby food, you know? They're properly ensuring that there's entire movement of the jaw while eating food. If you don't have this one thing, again, I can go into things like, oh yes, iron supplements cause constipation, opioids, irregular bowel habits, not following natural urges, going to the toilet when you need to go to the toilet and not going to the toilet when you're trying to go defecate, when you're trying to evacuate stool, again, can cause constipation, overuse of laxatives, genetics, aging, pregnancy, and if you don't have a good amount of gut ecology, like gut microbiome, probiotics, etc. in your gut, again, you'll also be constipated. Weak abdominal muscles, lack of fiber in your diet as well. Again, all of these are causes of constipation. They put you at the risk of constipation, but the number one risk is not chewing food slowly. Okay, it's chewing food fast. That is the number one cause of constipation. Medical science will tell you the reasons that I explained earlier. The rule of thumb is 32 times because you have 32 teeth. Or if you want to eat, like counting your chewing, your bites is very important, especially if you have big chunks of food in your mouth. 32 times is like a good amount of number to turn the food into liquid. The more the liquid in your mouth is, the more easier it's on a digestive system. The more easier it is on a digestive system, the more easier it is for you to evacuate, okay? For you to release the stool, release the waste. Take the load off your stomach and chew food slowly, and it's a game changer. Like, you'll notice how fast you'll start reverse aging. In Ayurveda, all your body is energy. Everything is energy. Your blood is energy. That's what energy is depicted by. The good amount of blood you have in your body, the more energetic you are. The more pumping your blood is, the more naturally flowing your blood is, the more oxygen is in your body, and hence the more energy you have. Imagine your stomach taking most of your energy when your brain should have some energy, you know? No wonder why you get brain fog, because if you chew food fast, you'll naturally be sluggish and you'll naturally have low energy because all the energy has gone to digesting that food that you have not taken responsibility over. Take our time. That's the first recommendation, and this is the foundation. If you don't fix this, then I can keep telling you about emotional stuff, mental stuff. It won't make a big difference. Start off with this, and then we go into the next framework, which is looking at ancient civilization and how they depicted constipation. The Egyptians looked at it as poison building up. The Greeks looked at it emotionally as people who have settled. The water has settled. It's not moving. It's not flowing. There is fear. There is heaviness. Fear, heaviness. You're essentially stuck up. In Ayurveda, a vata, if you have a vata disorder, if you have too much air within you, you'll naturally be fearful, anxious, and overthinking. There'll be instability. Air creates instability in fire. Just imagine these elements interacting with each other. There needs to be a balance of these elements in your body in order for you to achieve harmony. You need to have all these elements in balance in order to have a well-functioning digestive system. Any issue with these elements will cause things like fear and anxiety and stress. Not even because your gut is related to your brain, everything will manifest into your brain as well, into your mood, into your mind. Everything is connected. When I say you're not chewing food fast, it also means you're rushing through life. There is this energy that you're stressed out, you're rushing, you're not really processing your emotions, you're not really letting go. Imagine you're straining to, like, you're forcing your body to let go, but emotionally you're stuck up, you know? So there's two realms that your body is operating in, the mind and body. Okay, they work in cohesion. If there is something that is happening in your gut, it also means it's happening emotionally. It's the same reflection. The taller the tree is, the longer the roots are underneath. And the Greeks also noticed that they're very low-spirited. People are constipated. It all makes sense because imagine a lot of waste getting accumulated in your body and your body's not able to let go of it. What does it mean emotionally? Emotionally, it means you're rigid. Emotionally, it means you're not able to take risks in life in order to overcome fear. Fear is what is holding you back. Your body's braced. It's not enthusiastic because it's hyper vigilant of what is going to happen if you take the wrong step, if you make the wrong move, etc., etc. Your body is holding on to waste. Your emotions are also waste. When you're not able to process your emotions, process the past or what happened in the past, and you're not able to process that, to live fully in the present moment, your emotions start getting accumulated. And over a period of time, it braces your body, so you're not able to take action and move forward in life. You're not able to flow in life. I'm just going to draw a flow chart for you. So that's one concept, which is ancient civilization. Now we're going to look at, so I'm just going to put down fear as the core of your emotional state. So the physical one is not chewing food fast. The emotional one is fear. And now we're going to look at flow. There's a concept called flow, a flow state. And there's anxiety over here. And then there is boredom. And in between it is flow. And challenges are on the side here. And there is skill. When your skill meets your challenge, you enter into a flow state. But in order for you to get into the flow state, you need challenges in life. You need to learn to take risks. You need to learn to transcend fear through taking risks. You need to learn to trust your body. I'll tell you a story of myself. I went on the slopes in Zermatt in Switzerland, and I like snowboarding. So I was snowboarding there. And mind you, I'm good at snowboarding, but there's always a fear within me whenever I'm on the slopes, especially if the slopes are super, like, hilly. Okay, so if the slopes are going like this and that, it's scary. First time on the Swiss Alps, and I had to, so my snowboard is over here, right? I have to get enough speed to get onto the top of the mountain. Okay? So you need enough speed to enter into the next stage of the mountain. And again, you're essentially going down a slope. If you get stuck here, right? It's really hard. You just have to walk up with your snowboard to the top, and you can't, like, it just makes the whole process very tiring. Okay, so there is boredom. Essentially, if you don't engage in life, there is boredom. But if you engage in life, if you say, oh yes, I'm going to go down the mountain, doesn't matter if I fall, it doesn't matter if you fall off the cliff, doesn't matter. This is the mindset that one should have. Essentially, it's a very weird mindset, because humans, a lot of people, in fact, are risk adverse, and we don't really think about how life can be when life is full of adventure and enthusiasm. We just think about the negative, the risks. We don't really understand opportunity. I'm on the slope here, and I'm going to go down the mountain. I have to let go. I have to let go of everything. I have to trust my body. I have to trust my snowboard. I have to trust my balance in order to reach into the next stage. Okay? And if my mind gets involved, if I get fearful anywhere down the line here, right, I am more likely to fall. So, and that happened. I didn't fall down. So luckily, I went on naturally, like, I hardly fell down. It was because I trusted my body, trusted my balance. There was a moment when my mind came in the middle, where as I was going down, I was like, oh my God, how can I do this? You know, like, I've never done this in my life. How am I doing this? You know, it just shocks you, right? Like, when you're in adventure, when you're doing something that is out of your league, out of, like, your skill is not really there yet, but you're pushing so you can transcend that skill to meet that challenge. Okay. So when the challenge is very high and your skill set is sort of lower than the challenge that you can meet, that's when you enter flow state. And that was the same state I felt, right? Or on a daily basis, they can feel flow, but that was the same state I felt as I was going down on the mountain to the next mountain on top. And mind you, as soon as I reached here, I was like, holy, like, it's insane, like, that I can do this, you know? And not to be arrogant or anything, but it was just crazy to see myself achieve this level of skill in snowboarding that I've never done. I've snowboarded on different types of mountains, but every mountain comes with its own challenge. This one was a much harder challenge, and hence I went into the flow state because the skill level was not really there yet, but the challenge was much higher. And as I was speaking about the mind entering, bringing in the risk, thinking, overestimating the risk, being like, oh, like I'm gonna fall down, I can't do this, and I just give up. It's only gonna make life boring. It's only gonna make life less adventurous. I'm gonna be less enthusiastic. It's the same thing when you go to the gym and you're pushing a weight that you're normally not supposed to push. It is a risk that you might injure your body, but if you estimate it properly, if you just go if you hit 1 kg more than the natural weight, you'll naturally do it better. And if you go 2, you'll naturally do it even better. So it's about gauging your body, trusting your body that it can push, that it can be balanced, that it can achieve great height. Risk is about knowing that your body and your mind has the ability to achieve potential. If you don't take risks, you won't be able to see what life is about. You won't be able to see how it feels when you get on top of the next mountain. That feeling of complete evacuation. Imagine, you know, one day you fully evacuate completely in one go, and and you feel satisfied of that. That feeling is invaluable, you know, compared to the feeling that you're stuck up. You know, you're stuck up and you're straining hard and you can't really let go, and it's painful. It's not really, you just get very moody and very angry and agitated, etc. There's a buildup of agitation within you because you're not able to release your stool. This is what happens. It's the same concept, but from a different analogy. When you don't take risks in life, your life becomes very boring. It becomes settled. It becomes unworthy of seeing your potential. Even as I speak right now, I just turn on the camera. I don't have any script. I just go and I speak. It's a challenge. It's not natural to me. But again, I try and transcend that line by seeing what my potential holds, by taking that risk, okay, of putting myself out there and trusting my ability, my mind to communicate however the topic is, whatever the topic is about. And this is what life is about. Your body has the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system, so you can handle stress. If nature has designed us in a way where we're not going to get the sympathetic nervous system, like, we would be fragile, we would like die essentially, because there's too much parasympathetic nervous system, there's too much relaxation. We won't be able to experience adrenaline, okay? That rush that you get going down the mountain, that rush that you get when you're on a surfboard surfing, when you're playing music, when you hit each note, when you're in a flow state of writing, whatever it is, whatever the creative act it is, at work, in your day, in your gym, even when you're spending time with your family, communicating, there's a certain flow that you can achieve in your daily life. And that comes from you exploring your potential, you trusting your body. You are meant to experience adrenaline. You are meant to experience stress. When you stress a muscle and you relax it, that's when it grows. In stress, the muscle breaks down, and in rest, the muscle grows. Okay? Same thing with us. We have both polarities. We have rest and we have stress. We need both. We can't just have complete rest. We need stress in life. But again, if we have too much stress in life, we get problems. So you need to have a balance of fire and water and air and space and earth. Earth is your grounding element. When you have a balance of these elements, when you have a balance of stress and rest, relaxation and engagement, fight, fly, etc. If you have a balance, that's what life is about. You need to have stress in your daily life. You need to have challenges in your daily life to get you to the next level. Okay? There is no reward, there is no result, right? If I didn't commit, if I didn't take the risk of falling off the cliff. By the way, the mountain is like this, right? But there's cliffs on the side that you can fall off the mountain if you don't know how to control your board. So it takes a level of mental preparation, right, to achieve greatness, I guess. Greatness, it can be in any realm of life. It just doesn't have to be in work. Achieving greatness, flow is a level of greatness. If you're in flow, you'll start unleashing your potential. You'll start manifesting more out of you. Okay? We think that we live in a world where we get information from outside into us, but in true reality, we've been on this planet for however long this planet has existed. You come from a sperm that is living, conscious, and alive. That sperm, that genetic code has been essentially coming in for however long, this planet has been living for. So that's how old you are. Your consciousness is. It's not this one body that you have, one life that you have. You have come from a lot of different levels of understanding, experiences, consciousness, and you've come into this body. It doesn't mean your body is empty. Your body is full of knowledge. It's full of understanding, full of wisdom, full of knowing. But when you negate that, when you think that the people around you, this world that is around you, the people can tell you what to do, they know what's best for you, they know what is better, you start over-calculating your life, okay? You start over-judging yourself. You start comparing yourself. You start thinking that, this won't get results because this person is saying this won't get results. You start mentoring yourself from the outer world when you should be mentoring yourself from within. No one can tell you what's best for you. It's your own intuition. It's your own instincts that will guide you through to a life where it'll be worth living. A life full of enthusiasm. A life full of fire. When the fire is at peak and it's lit up, it lights up everyone else around it. You have fire within you. Your ambition. If you learn to tame your ambition, if you learn to tame this fire, okay, ground it. Have a good level of moisture. This is basically sunlight. Your fire is sunlight. And there's a time for sunlight, there's a time for moonlight. We need both. We need day and night in order for perfect harmony to be sustained, in order for life to fully manifest. You yourself, inside you, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of knowledge, which you yourself don't know yet, unless you experience flow, unless you experience challenges. So if you don't have challenges in your life, create challenges. If you don't have problems in your life, create problems. Solve them. Because over a period of time, your life will settle. Your water will settle, and soon it will dry up because if society is full of anxiety and stress-inducing. There's a lot of air. And mind you, today we live in a world where we have become very soft. Okay, it's easier for AI to write your blog. It's easier for an AI to read something, to summarize something, to watch something, to do everything essentially, to create something. But it's only going to make you softer. Third aspect is doing hard things. Yeah? Doing hard things. And this is going to sound so cliche, but doing hard things so you still can become soft. And this is the hard thing, going on a mountain, playing music, reading, writing, expressing your art, going for a run. These are hard things. Challenging yourself, going for a 10K run, swimming, holding your breath underwater for a long time. That's also a challenge. Doing yoga. Everything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If you do hard things, it'll make you stronger from within. And the more stronger you become, the more flow you achieve in your life, the less constipated you will be. The more life will fully manifest for you. Take those risks. Make those hard conversations that you need to have. You need to learn to express yourself, communicate, and face the consequences. There are consequences with everything. Like fear itself, and when you take a risk, there's a consequence to that risk, right? But you need to embrace that consequence. That's the totality. That's the life that is worth living. When you learn that you can handle those consequences. Again, too much risk is also bad. Risk within your capacity, right? If it was too steep, I wouldn't have gone down the mountain. But I estimated it. You have to be very aware of what your abilities are, what your capabilities are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. You have to pay attention to yourself. Rather than wasting time on other people and judging them for who they are, pay attention to yourself. Focus on yourself, Learn about yourself. Learn what the art that is within you, the music that plays in your heart. Learn that. Listen to that. And slowly, you'll see life will start improving. You won't get conditions like constipation. You'll be much more full of happiness instead of fear. This whole world, every human being, every living being lives in two states. Polarities, it's love and fear. Serotonin is produced from your gut, as well as fear is held in your gut as well. Okay, so if you're stressed, you won't digest food properly. You'll have low gut motility, which is essentially your food traveling down your food pipe and stomach, etc., through to the waste channels. Fear is what creates low gut motility. Love is what transcends you. The ability to take risk is what transcends you. The love for your life, the love for yourself. These are the two states that every human being lives in. And within these states, there's a full spectrum of different emotions, different actions, etc., different thoughts. There's love on this side, fear on this side, and within it there's different types of emotions that manifest. But what life is about experiencing all these emotions in fullness. It's not about living in one state and being there for the rest of your life. It's not settling. If I was over here, again, I will experience fear, right? Fear is a natural state. You'll naturally be fearful when you're edging out of your comfort zone. This is your comfort zone, and if you're just going to move out slightly, if you're going to step out of it, there will be natural fear because you haven't entered that territory. I haven't entered this territory yet, so there is fear. But as soon as I know that I can trust myself and I can go through it, no matter what happens, I'll face the consequences. It doesn't matter. And you just send it, like you just like enter that, you take the challenge and you allow your skills to manifest in real time, meeting that challenge in perfection, and that is flow. You'll experience God mode, perfection, beauty, magic within flow, within this state of fear and love, right? The comfort zone is what keeps you trapped. It's what gets you stuck up. It's what gets the stools stuck up as well. I'm just gonna make some analogies over here. Your body has the same effects as your mind. So if you're stuck up in life, if your emotions are stuck up, if you haven't processed your past emotions properly, if you haven't learned to let go, learn to release, talk it out, communicate, express, it will all be stuck up in your gut and transformation won't happen. This is transformation, by the way. When you enter into a zone which is out of your comfort zone expands. Your abilities expand. So imagine this is a comfort zone, right? I enter out of it, I get a new comfort zone, I enter out of it again. And life gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The challenges become bigger and bigger and bigger. You become greater and greater and greater at different things in life. And that's the whole purpose. Not even purpose, that's the whole enjoyment in life. Purpose of life is to enjoy it. So if you want to make the most out of life and extract it to its max capacity, then you need to learn to take risks that are going to help you get out of your current comfort zone. And if sometimes you need to take bigger risks to challenge yourself, the more you're afraid of something, if you take that risk, the more you're going to grow from it when you come out the other side. Okay. As soon as you land on the other mountain on top, the feeling that you get of achievement, no award on this world, no person's validation on this world can fulfill that. It doesn't matter. People validating you, it doesn't matter how many awards you win. That's all fake. That's all fake. It's your inner fulfillment that you get from achieving greatness that you only know that you can achieve. It's not what other people congratulating you about. That's all fake. It doesn't really matter. That's all an illusion. And what you do? You take risks in life that you'll get applauded for, which is a completely different type of mindset when you take risks for yourself. And the flow state is in fact when your mind is actually not interfering. I was saying earlier, when I went down, as soon as I went into a thoughtless state as I was going down, and I was allowing my body's balance to take me to the next mountain. I didn't allow any thought to come in. And even if there was a thought, I immediately focused my attention on the snowboard, on looking at the snowboard, or looking straight ahead. And the thoughts didn't come. But I knew as soon as my mind came in and my thoughts came in, I would fall off very easily. When you're in a territory that is out of your comfort zone, this sounds very weird and it sounds cliche. It doesn't sound right, but you'll notice that when you're in a flow state, you can't have your mind entering. You have to allow your body to manifest itself to achieve a greater heights. There's things that come out of your mind and body that you don't even know that it will come out, but they come out. There's some divine intervention that happens, right? They come out. It's because you're entering into a different arena. This is the main summary of constipation. I didn't go into the science a lot, but I hope this helped you gain a good framework of how to deal with it. First things first, ensure you chew food slowly. That's the first thing. Don't have water while you're eating food. You can have small amounts, but especially after food, don't have water. You can have water in between meals, but only small amounts, like just 1 or 2 sips or even drops of water is fine, but not too much. You can have water before, 40 minutes before is fine. Like if you're gonna have a glass of water, that's usually the rules of drinking water and chewing food, which are foundational to your health. Again, if you have fear in your body, you're likely to be chewing fast, so that's a given. But if you have fear in your life, get rid of it. Get rid of fear by taking risks, by facing what you're scared of the most, letting it out, and facing the consequences. You'll naturally start smiling more. Like it's a crazy feeling when you transcend fear. When you take that risk and when you see the other side, you'll naturally start smiling more. You'll naturally start being enthusiastic about life more. Because that's the whole essence, is to dance between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. It's to dance between challenges and skill, you know? This is where your life is. It's in the flow state. So in a world where there is so much softness, people can't handle emotions, people can't process emotions properly, people can't express themselves because they're numb, you know? Transcend this softness and do hard things. Do difficult things because they will make you stronger. If you go to the gym, it's physically difficult to go to the gym. But if you do it on a regular basis, you'll gain more mental strength. Same thing if you train your mind to read, write, learn. No matter how level of advanced AI is, it doesn't matter. We as humans need to create art, need to express ourselves, play music. You know, there needs to be an existence of the human endeavor. In that endeavor of potential, of seeing yourself grow, that's where your life is. That's where the beauty and the magic is. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this session. Next class, we'll look at hair fall. Until then, take care, and I'll see you for the next class.